Sree, thank you so much for your comments. Again, the main purpose of today's debate is, this is really the first time, in fact, I'm studying with 5 of my Indian class fellows since 1.5 years. This is the first time we are discussing these really thorny issues, and I'm glad that we are bringing them up. Well, you give a very good point of view from the Indian perspective, but can I turn this on?
Sure. Yeah, push the big blue button there.
Which one here?
Right side.
Okay, so, Sree, the elderly brother India, we do agree, if you look at this region, Pakistan, Kashmir, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India is no doubt the biggest country over here, geographically and population-wise, militarily, naval forces, armed forces. So if you want to call India the elderly brother of this region, we don't have any problems with that. We do accept that, and we do congratulate you for that, for your economic success and all that. But Pakistan, a smaller country, our army is 500,000 as compared to 1.2 million army of India. It's not imaginable that Pakistan in 1949 decided, okay, let's go and attack India because we're going to overcome them. No. Then in 1965, Pakistan again decided, okay, enough is not enough. We're again going to try our forces with India. We could also do the calculations. 1971, Pakistan said, okay, no, again, we're again going to attack India. Or 2001, no, we're again going to attack India. But finally, in 2008, as you mentioned, we realized, okay, 1.2 million is a bit higher than 5.5 million, so we're not going to attack India. Pakistan, let's not get into this discussion that who started the war, but a country with an army of 500,000 does not attack countries with a population of 1.2 million. And India, this elderly country brother, is a hostile neighbor. Just talking from the perspective of Pakistan, 1949, a war, 1965, a war, 1971, a war, 1980s, a war, 1990s, a half war, as you said. Kashmir, it's burning. India also had a war with China in 1962. Bangladesh, as Sree mentioned, India actually interfered in Pakistan's internal issues and helped the local militants or freedom fighters or whatever gain independence. So it had intrusions over here, it has problems over here, it had war with China. Only recently, India abandoned its support for the Tamil fighters. In fact, in 1987, India actually dropped food supplies for Tamil fighters in India, in Sri Lanka. Again, those reports can be controversial, and we both can have a debate on that. But this is not an elderly brother country we are dealing with, or these are not the actions of an elderly brotherly country. You are a big power, you are a big economic power. We do commend you for that. But we will not take dictation from India for that. You cannot say, okay, here is a list of all those things that you have to do. If you do it, fine. Otherwise, there's going to be a war. And if there's going to be a war, people are going to bet their money on India. And if anybody is better off, it will be India. Let me tell you, both of these are nuclear nations. In case there is a war, none of us would be better off. Both of us would be worse off. Both of the countries have enough nuclear arsenal to perish each other completely. So none of us would be better off in case there is a war. War is not an option over here because both of the countries have nuclear arsenal. In case of an aggression from either of the sides, that nuclear arsenal would be used indiscriminately. So we will not be better off if a war takes place between India and Pakistan. Secondly, you said Kashmir is a sovereign state. There's no compromise on sovereignty of Kashmir. Kashmir is not sovereign under Indian control. That's Pakistani point of view. It's not sovereign. It's under Indian dominion. One way or another, it's not sovereign. If you want to discuss, as I mentioned, there were 500 states, small states in India. Some of them acceded to Pakistan, some of them acceded to India. So far, the main problem is between Pakistani-held Kashmir and Indian-held Kashmir, right? So, what if Pakistan agrees to have a plebiscite in Pakistani-held Kashmir? And meanwhile, India agrees to have a plebiscite in Indian-held Kashmir. We both demilitarize, again, worth mentioning, of 80% of 500,000 of Pakistani army, that is also in Pakistani-held Kashmir. And 50% of Indian army is on Indian-held Kashmir. So we both demilitarize this region under United Nations monitoring and control. We both in Pakistani-held Kashmir and Indian-held Kashmir will let the plebiscite and the vote of self-determination take place. Let the Kashmiris decide their future. Because Kashmir will remain a problem. This is not how we can negotiate that. We keep on saying Kashmir is a problem. You say we are not going to discuss Kashmir. We will have to discuss Kashmir if there has to be negotiation. We cannot deny the fact that Pakistani people have an association with Kashmir one way or another. 45,000 civilians have died in Kashmir since 1989. And these are reports from Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch report. Despite the fact who did it, we did it, the militants did it. But there is a problem over here, and we cannot deny the existence of a problem over here. And my last point, again, saying that, okay, you dismantle all of your terrorist networks, and then we're going to talk with you. As I mentioned, in this war on terrorism, Pakistan is a frontline ally. Pakistan is bleeding most. These jihadis, they are not easy to target. They were there, they were a part of society when Soviet Union attacked and conquered Afghanistan. Saudi Arabia, the US, and Pakistan, they all came together and they engendered these Frankensteins. We bred them, we fed them, we trained them to fight with the Russians in Afghanistan. And after they collapsed, we abandoned them. They are a part of the fabric of the society, and it is extremely difficult for us to go against them. We are going against them, but it is not an easy war. We don't know when it's going to end. What we know is we are going against them. What we know is we are fighting against them. And what we want is that you also help us in fighting against them. Rather than saying, okay, there are not going to be any talks until terrorists are there. What if it takes another 10 years for us to eliminate terrorists? There would be no talks between India and Pakistan at all? So in other words, we are holding ourselves hostages to terrorists. Until we don't eliminate them, we are not going to talk. So they are going to decide the destiny of negotiations between India and Pakistan.